All right, we're going back into it. We ran into a bunch of problems here, but I think we're going to be okay right now. And I'm going to go back to our site here. We're taking a look here, and we're looking down at the site. And so whenever you put something in about, like, for example, over here, immediately into heaven, okay, whenever we put this in, then you're going to see down here, click on it, and every one of the different videos that's coming in that has to do with immediately about heaven is going to be on there. So when you put in your keyword, you have a question about something, then it'll pop it in, and then it'll give you those that will have the access to it. So I wanted to show that to you, that you might be able to use that later on. And so we'll get into that, and you take a look at that. But it is in beta right now. It is not complete, all right? So the heaven questions, if you would go in there and then take a look, punch in some keywords and see how it's working for you if you have any problem, and then write us. And then, of course, as we said, later on, if you'd like to, go on down here, and then you can sign up right over here. Sign up. And then you'll be able to get the information. And then I'm going to start sending out newsletters this next week as well. Okay? So we'll get into that, and then we'll see if we can't make that a real powerful study for you as well. And thanks for being patient on this. It has just been a challenge, one thing after another, throughout the day on getting internet connections together. And I think that we had it. What happened is we had to just strip everything down and start all over again. All right, now we're going to get into Revelation chapter 18. So if you go into Revelation chapter 21, Revelation chapter 21, and we're going to go and get started. And as I move through this passage here, there's something very, very intriguing about the new heaven and the new earth. All right? So when we get into it, the new heaven and the new earth of Revelation chapter 21, and we're going to drop on down. There's this whole description of the foundational stones of wonderful colors. Let me take a look here and read you some of the wonderful truths in Revelation chapter 21 that we were talking about. The construction of the walls was of jasper, and as we talked about in an earlier study, that's jaspis. That's kind of a transliterated word over, and it really is very, very strongly intimating jaspis is diamond. That's what they called it in those days. Jaspis, a diamond white. The construction of the walls is diamond. The city is pure gold, but it's like pure glass, clear glass, transparent gold, something we don't see here on earth. This gives you an idea of the power and the beauty of what's on here. Then you have a list of the different stones on there, the foundational stones. Jasper, sapphire, chalcedony, emerald, sardonyx, sardius, chrysolite, beryl, topaz, chrysoprase, jacinth, and amethyst. And if you go through a search engine, images, and just line these up and just load the pictures and get an idea of the beauty of these foundational stones that are on here. My goodness, I mean, that's just stunning enough as it is. Then you start going through here and you start seeing the other things intimated and what it's going to be like. Remember, John's writing as best he can in the capacity that he can. And when he's taking a look at this, he's just saying it. In his mind, he's giving you the best descriptions. There's no temple here. We talked about that this morning. There's no temple in here because the Lord God Almighty and Jesus are the temple, as we see that. The city has no need of the sun or moon to shine in it, because why? The glory of the Lord will illumine it, and the Lamb will be its lamp. Remember that? Now, go down to verse 24. And when you go down to verse 24, all the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light. They'll walk in the light of the New Jerusalem, the holy glory of the New Jerusalem. All the nations of those, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. And in it, its gates shall not be shut at all by day, because it says, and we can put a parenthesis in there, there's no night. And when we see this, it says there nothing defiling is entering into it. Okay? Now the big question here is, when we're taking a look at this, what in the world is this talking about? The kings are bringing their glory into it. Now there's a very good thought as we're talking about this, bringing the glory into this. What in the world does that mean? The kings. because I thought there was only one kingdom, and that was the New Jerusalem. No, not really. There's a lot of different things that we've talked about. We traverse the whole new earth as we go. The gates of the New Jerusalem are open at all times. We can move about. This is the kingdom. But it's very interesting as I'm going through studies, and I found this from 3 different Bible scholars. There is also, when it says the kings will bring their glory in, what in the world is that talking about? Well, you think about this. What happens before the new heaven and the new earth? Well, that's going to be the millennial kingdom, in which Jesus will be on earth for 1,000 years. Now, while he's on the earth for 1,000 years, are there going to be children born? Yes, there will be. Will some rebel? Yes, they will. Will some become believers and followers of the Lord? Yes, they will. Well, we know what happens to the rebellious in Revelation chapter 20. They are sent off into condemnation. But what happens with the ones who are believers? Where do they go? Are they swung back up into heaven? Do they stay on the earth? Where do they go? Since the present earth will go away and the present heaven will go away, well, then what happens with these ones? Well, there are Bible scholars that say this. This verse in Revelation chapter 24 answers that very question. It says that they will bring, these ones that are living on the earth will bring their glory into it, which gives a very strong hint that those that are on earth will be translated up, much as like with the rapture, into safety and in the presentation of the new heavens and the new earth. On the new earth, they'll bring their millennial glory into it. It's a very intimate teaching here. Now, I do believe that with that the internet has gone down. I don't see any other questions on this. So I'm going to conclude for today, and then tomorrow, whenever the internet's in a better situation, we'll just get started again. I really appreciate the time if you're seeing this later on, and I'm going to go ahead and load this in the archives, and we'll talk some more about it. But take care, God bless you, and Lord willing, we'll talk soon.